You're watching World Now. In the Middle East, strong reactions are trailing the proposal by President Donald Trump, suggesting that the U.S. takes control of the Gaza Strip and oversees its redevelopment. Some nations have also reacted, maintaining that Palestinians should be granted the right to statehood. We have a report.
The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down. They're living under fallen concrete that's very dangerous and very...
Tuesday, President Trump proposed the resettling of displaced Palestinians outside Gaza. His statement that the U.S. will own the rebuilding process, the clearing of unexploded bombs, leveling of destroyed buildings and creating economic opportunities in the region have fueled tension in the Middle East as ceasefire negotiations between Hamas and Israel continue. Saudi Arabia, a key player in regional diplomacy, was amongst the first to reject the proposal. Its foreign ministry issued a firm statement on Wednesday, emphasizing its long-standing position in favor of an independent Palestinian state. The statement says that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman remains committed to establishing a Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital, clearly stating that diplomatic relations with Israel will not be established without this condition. Saudi Arabia has been engaged in talks with the U.S. about normalizing ties with Israel in exchange for security guarantees and other agreements. However, President Trump's latest comments may complicate those discussions and further inflame regional tension. Meanwhile, Turkey's Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan has expressed his country's strong opposition to President Trump's suggestion to relocate Palestinians from Gaza to neighboring Egypt and Jordan. Mr. Fidan was speaking during a joint news conference Tuesday with his Egyptian counterpart, Badru Abdelati, who has been on a visit to Ankara. Both men discussed trade and investment ties, but also spoke about regional security issues, with Gaza being a major focus. The Turkish foreign minister says his country's position is that Palestinians should be granted the right to a state on their land, and the conflict should be ended with a two-state solution. He added that coming up with a different proposal could be described as, quote, not reading history well. Mr. Fidan also expressed his concern that the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, might restart the war in Gaza after the release of Israeli hostages.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says El Salvador has offered to take in dangerous criminals held in American jails, including those with U.S. citizenship. After meeting President Nayib Bukele on a visit to the Central American country, Mr. Rubio says the U.S. is profoundly grateful because no country has ever made an offer of friendship such as this. The U.S. Secretary of State says El Salvador will also accept for deportation migrants of any nationality who are criminals and in the United States unlawfully. He has praised President Bukele for his policies on gang violence, which have drastically reduced crime rates in El Salvador, which was once the murder capital of the world. Now talking Africa, Rwandan-backed rebels have gained ground in eastern Congo despite the unilateral ceasefire they declared earlier this week, taking control of a city 60 miles from the provincial capital of Bukavu. Civil society officials announced this to the press. Now, speaking from Goma, the UN's deputy head of its mission there said the situation remains highly volatile with a persistent risk of escalation. The M23 rebels announced a ceasefire on humanitarian grounds after pleas for the safe passage of aid and hundreds of thousands of displaced people. After seizing control of Goma, a provincial capital of 2 million people at the heart of a region home to trillions of dollars in mineral wealth, the rebels were reported to be gaining ground in other areas of eastern Congo and advancing on Bukavu.